Hello Trekkies and Trekkers. Welcome to this amazing Star Trek podcast on Trek Tuesday. I'm your host Orinda, and together with Amanda Hopper, I recap every 2 weeks an episode of Star Trek TNG. All the episodes will be recapped and chronically following. We will approach each episode with a humor and a feminine look. Today we recap the episode Manhunt. The Federation starship Enterprise is ordered to escort two Antidean ambassadors to an important conference on the planet Pacifica. The Antideans are transported aboard in a self-induced catatonic state to reduce the stress of space traveling, along with a plentiful food supply for when they awaken, in accordance with their custom. En route, the Enterprise is ordered to rendezvous with a shuttlecraft carrying the Betazoid telepathic ambassador Luxwana Troi, mother of course, ship's counselor Diana Troi, and her mute man servant Mr. Hum. Due to his previous experience with her, Captain Jean-Luc Picard does not entirely welcome Luxwana's presence, as she tends to be overbearing and lack of tact, but Starfleet's instructions are that she be afforded full diplomatic courtesy. Luxwana invites Picard to dinner, and he is surprised to find that rather than the informal diplomatic function for the entire senior staff that he expected, is in a romantic setting for just the two of them. Picard evades her advantage, inviting android Lieutenant Commander Data to join them, and manipulating him into taking over the conversation with long-winded anecdotes. Troi explains that her mother has entered a stage in the life of a Betazoid woman with her sex drive drastically increases, as that she is searching for a new husband, having been long since widowed. Moreover, her telepathy is clouded as a side effect, causing her to mistreat Picard's thoughts as indicating sexual desire for her. Picard retreats to the holodeck to hide from her, leaving Commander Riker in charge. Frustrated by Picard's absence, Luxwana targets Riker instead and makes a surprise announcement to the bridge crew that they all will be married. The Antideans have meanwhile revived, and Riker goes to the holodeck to notify Picard. Luxwana follows, and having determined that Riker is not interested either, switches her attention to a character from Picard's Dixon Hill simulation, who returns her affection. Picard somewhat reluctantly informs her that her new husband-to-be is merely a holographic projection. When the ship arrives at the conference and collected ambassadors prepare to beam down on the planet, Luxwana offhandedly informs the crew that the Antedians are actually assassins, though they deny this. Scans shows they are carrying explosives, just as Luxwana indicated, and they are taken into custody. She remarks that while she did not find a new husband, at least she saved the conference, and as she is beaming away, playfully chastises Picard for having such naughty thoughts about her, much to his dismay. Well, hello everyone. Let's call Amanda again. Hello, Amanda.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Like I told you, Dad and I took Holly in, our little Yorkie Terrier, who's, I think, 10. Took her in for her haircut yesterday, and she's so cute with her short hair. She kind
Oh,
of looked
yeah.
like I told you, she kind of looked like a mixture with all that hair cut off. She's so cute with the hair on her. She kind of looks like a mixture of Chewbacca and an Ewok. All that hair on her, she could barely see.
Yeah, more that still has to have his hair cut as well. But
Yeah, she
okay.
doesn't like getting it done. She had to get her toenails done too. They were getting all long.
Hmm.
You hear click, 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 click. That's what you hear on the floor with the toenails.
Well, guys, a little note. I'm not going to spoil anything or whatever because I didn't have seen the last episode of Picard. Amanda just told me that it is a episode of 1.5 hours. That's why it's probably also in the cinema. I am very excited, but also very sad because this will be probably the last time we see the TNG cast in the series or in a movie. And yeah, that makes me sad because like I said, the new Data and the new Worf are very nice and great, and I love to see more of them. But I think this is really the bang that they say they will go out with.
Yeah. Was it last week's episode where Data says, "Oh, we'll die quicker"?
Yeah. I hope we die quick.
Yeah, that's it. Dad, I was just sitting there on the couch watching it. Dad's sitting on the chair behind me, and all I could hear from him was a big laughter about it.
Yeah, but Data is so funny now. We always said that Data in TNG is already more human than most human, but
yeah, I think
I really love the Data. This
I
Data.
think he also had the emotion chip.
Yeah, but also like what he said in the last episode with something like he talked to Fedek and the changelings, and what he said when he took over the bridge again. I was me and Simon were looking at each other. I was saying, did he just said what we just thought he said? And we had to rewind it for 2 or 3 times till we actually know what he was saying, and it was so funny.
Especially what Vatic said. I'm like, did she say what she I think she said? That's what Dad asked me. Because when she got sucked out and she was getting ready to be killed.
Yeah.
Oh, effing solids. Dad's like, what'd you say? I'm like,
Bleep!
Dad's like, I thought I heard the curse word in there. I'm like,
yeah. But they cursing more, and it's totally different track than we know as the old track, and that's the same with Discovery. And of course, guys, the new Strange New World season is there in at the 15th or 16th of June. So there will be a new season. So I'm and it looks good. I saw the trailer yesterday, so it's really good. So and of course, sorry guys, it's just news, Star Trek news. I also saw that the Section 31 movie is in production.
Yeah, I heard about that one too.
So yeah, I'm curious what they are going to do with that.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
And
what's her name?
Michelle Yeoh.
Michelle Yeoh. Ewan. That's how you say it. Ewan.
Yeoh, yeah.
Yeah, she's coming back, I guess.
But there's also a rumor that there will be a new. There's 2 new series. What they are, I think one is already in production. I don't know, but that is Starfleet Academy. And I'm very, very, I'm curious what they're going to do with that. And there was another series that they are the fans are hearing of is that they want a Star Trek legacy. But they already killed off Sean. And talking about Captain Sean, guys, last week, and I have to speak a week before now, because the last week, the Shutterpot show of a podcast of Colonel Troi and Dominic Keaton, Captain Shaw is a guest on there. So they are going to interview him. So you can see the interview back on YouTube, and also, of course, on all the other podcast mediums. But I think this is going to be an interesting interview, to be honest. An interesting episode. So if you like to listening to it, go ahead. And even Gage McFadden, who also have her podcast. I love her podcast, by the way. Gage McFadden Investigated. She will have 2 more episodes of her podcast, and that is with Anson Mount and Captain Shaw. So that's going to be interesting too. So
yeah, Dad was. We were in the car yesterday. Dad's like, "How many Star Trek series were there, and what was all their captains' names?" I was like, "Well, I tried listing them off in the order the best I could. I knew most of them in order."
I must say, guys, I also start watching the Orville. I have put it on off for a long time because I am not really into the fan make stuff, like movies and series. So, but Seth MacFarlane did a very, very, very good job. I really like the series. I really do. And let me see. I think it's in the end of May. I will do an podcast episode about the Orville on the Orinda Talks podcast. So stay tuned. And who knows? But yeah, I like it. Did you have ever seen it, Amanda?
I haven't seen like a whole episode, but I've been seeing bits and clips of them. And there's these 2 guys that are in the same quarters because I guess they're a couple. I guess the Morlock guys.
Yeah.
I've seen clips where one of them's eating cigarettes and the other guy's like, "No, you don't eat the cigarette. You light it and smoke it."
Yeah.
It's
really
they lay
funny.
egg. Yeah, and they got a blob-like character on there too. I forget his name.
He is. Yeah. It's a really great series. It's better than I thought. It's really funny, and it's really. It's not like the Star Trek. It is Star Trek in a way, but
yeah, but
the Star Trek captains will never socialize this much as the captain of the Orville.
Yeah.
But
the guy Seth MacFarlane does voices on Family Guy.
Yeah, he did. He also had cameos and a little figurant role in Star Trek. He's a huge Star Trek fan. But let's start with the recapping of this episode, because otherwise we are staying talking and we not going to recap the episode. I must say I did like this episode, and I was a little shocked how low the IMDb rating is. The IMDb rating was 6.5.
Ooh, that was low.
And I would give it at least a 7.5. So
yeah,
I don't know what you will rate it.
Yeah, I would give it about the same because it was kind of funny in some spots, especially with Luxwana. Jeez.
Yeah, but this is the Luxwana we know, and it was funny in how she was in the face, and I think a lot of female can identify themselves with, like, when you are in the menopause, in a way. So, but also it's Luxwana that we're talking about, and that and also like Riker was super amused by it, and so Picard said, "Well, I will at last available for her than normally because she's also as a diplomat." And but in that case, we see Picard really enjoying and being exciting to play Dixon Hill on the holodeck.
Yeah, he loves doing that.
And I think this is okay. In one way, he loved that. But in the other hand, I'm saying, why not an English program? Because he loves all English, like Sherlock Holmes and whatever else more. So, but let's start with the beginning. And the Enterprise has to pick up ambassadors for a Federation conference. And those are like fish-like people of alien?
Yeah, I forget what they call them. Yeah, they kind of look like fish.
Yeah.
And they wore this outfit. It's like a round collar around their neck. And when it's on them, I don't know if you can see their arms or not. Probably not. It looks like they're wearing like a giant curtain around their neck.
Yeah, and also, like they look like really fishes because they only would be alive 3 days before they come to the Fed conference.
Yeah.
And they were eating fishes.
They wake up as soon as they arrive to the area.
Yeah.
And then they chow down on that big old barrel full of fish.
What I was wondering, why would Picard ask Wesley to greet them? Because Wesley's not a senior staff. And it was really weird in one way how Worf was reacting on them. Because he found them beautiful and intrigued and whatever else more. And there was that moment that Wesley said, well, Wesley, Worf, you are handsome for a Klingon.
Yeah, he said that.
And what was funny in a way, because I must say, the older Worf in Picard is more handsome than the young Worf we have in TNG.
Oh, yeah. He is.
And, it's just nice. And I think there are in this episode, sometimes I don't understand the writers that they make 2 or 3 storylines in one episode. And what's happening is that they don't have enough time to get the whole story, all the storylines in a good way on film.
Yeah, it's kind of weird when they do episodes. If they have more than 2 or 3 storylines, I find sometimes the episode can be hard to follow. Yes. But if it's one solid storyline, it's easier for me to follow.
Yeah, but
if it's multiple storylines, it's hard.
Yeah, but also, like, when you have multiple storylines, it's just not that as detailed. And that's what I like in the later seasons, is that they are really going to write, like, multiple episodes that it's following up each other. And, like, for example, the story backline of Worf, what happened and why he became a traitor to the Klingon Emperor and whatever else more. So, although I do say they have in TNG, because we still are in season 2, guys, we are at, I believe it's episode 18 or 19. And, but, yeah, they have good episodes, but there are also very episodes that I'm thinking, what are you doing? You know? It's weird.
Oh, yeah. It tends to get really weird when it's multiple stories in one.
So, when was they joining the welcome party, Picard is explaining to him what species they are, what they do, and why they are in the stasis. And so, yeah, I think that's just like a, I don't know, it was weird.
Yeah, maybe he just wanted to put him on a simple task that he probably wouldn't screw up.
Well, maybe it was just because they...
Training?
And no, it's just like what Picard said. Not many people see those species, and so it's a good opportunity for Wesley. But
oh yeah,
it's in kind of way that Wesley is also going to, well, study with them or like becoming acquainted with the species. So then they are back on the bridge, and they got a message from Starfleet that they have to treat Luxwana Troi as a diplomat. And well, we all know, guys, that when we are talking about Luxwana, it's always trouble.
Yeah. Oh, trouble, overdramatic, having a crush on the captain.
Well, I must say, I didn't like her in TNG, but I did like her in Deep Space Nine. It's like she was a little bit more down to earth and not anymore that claimery of Diana. I always have pity with Diana when her mother is on the Enterprise.
I think her mother calls her little one, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, dear little one, like in her mind, she calls her that?
Talking about the Enterprise D, no spoilers, guys, because, but I wanted to say the last episode of Picard Season 3, I'm not talking about episode 10, but I'm talking about episode 9. That episode made me cry. And
the Enterprise.
It's just, it made me cry. It was like, oh my god, they bringing it back, and I was thinking, oh, thank God we got Geordi LaForge. We got Geordi LaForge.
Yeah.
You know,
he knows what he was doing.
Yeah, but like, nobody, because it was more or less the end of the Enterprise. In what movie was that? Wasn't that Nemesis? Or Generation? I can't remember.
It could have been in the second movie before that.
I can't remember. But
the one with Kirk. The one with Kirk. They crashed the saucer into the planet.
Yeah. And but the whole, like I said before, every episode of that season is become better and better. And last week's episode, oh my god, I was crying, and I watched it for 3-4 times just to see how much there was in. And oh my god, it was so, you know, I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but there was this scene that they were back on the bridge, and I'm not going to tell you what or why or how. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut because I don't want to spoil it for anyone who didn't have seen it yet.
I'll try to keep my mouth shut too.
When they were back on that bridge, oh my god, I was crying. Oh my god, I was saying, thank God they are back, and it looks beautiful. But there was another thing. Was that the... No, yeah, we say it's the Enterprise F, but it's the next constellation class, or the next class um, in line. That ship is from Star Trek Online, so they canonize it now. What is very great, it's super great. When my Simon saw that, he was screaming, he was jumping for joy. He said, "Oh, thank God, I got that ship on stow, and this is a Star Trek." And I noticed that what they did in Picard season 3, it's a lot from Star Trek Online. And in that way, it's that Frontier Day as well. That is, we have now a event on Star Trek Online that you're going to build the rocket from Saturn Cofrin, and that is very fun to do. But I saw a lot of Star Trek Online in it. What is in one way nice. And yeah. Well, so they got that. Then they been hailed by the shuttle, and we know how crazy Luxwana is. So the whole shenanigan shebang with her, and she beamed over, what was really silly again. But the funny part was she had her manservant Mr. Hum with her, but Riker wanted to be the big man and wanted to carry Luxana's back, and that wasn't. That was so heavy that he almost couldn't carry it. Yeah, what was funny in a way.
He goes to lift and he's like, "Oh, damn."
And so we could see that something was wrong with Luxana, because right away she invited Captain Picard for a diplomatic dinner in her quarters for, at her point, a romantic dinner just between two of them.
Yeah.
And so I think first, I don't know if that, no. So Picard invites Data, and that's also after, because Diana told Picard that her mother was in that phase, and that she her libido was too high, and she needed a new husband, and God knows else what. And she called
Riker's sitting next to them.
And she called it a physiological phase. And Diana was telling Picard, "Well, my mom is going to trick you," and etc., etc., etc. And then Diana and Riker were explaining what it really was. What makes Riker amused, because he was saying, "Oh, well, congratulations, Captain." But Picard wasn't amused at all. And we also see that Luxwana chose Picard as her favorite. You know what I also noticed is that Mr. Hum is drinking a lot of alcohol.
Yeah, he did in one of the other episodes too, when they had that big dinner.
Yeah, and it's just like, I was thinking, what the heck, Why would he do that? Is it just because he has to take care of Luxwana? That she make him crazy?
Maybe.
So
maybe he gets a little driven crazy that he has to drink.
Yeah, exactly. So Picard said, "Okay, I'm going to be less available for Luxwana," and as soon as he is done working, he's going to the holodeck and play his favorite holodeck program, Dixon Hill. And so it was Diana's choice to tell her mother that Captain Picard was unavailable for her and he had a lot of ship's business to do, and she didn't take that well, Luxwana, because she was saying, what? He is choosing the ship above me? That's so outrageous. So, we know that, as well as how Luxwana is. And, so, I think at this point in the series, Picard haven't played much Dixon Hill, because when you saw his interaction with his secretary and what is happening, it was, he had to remind himself what Dixon Hill did and what it is in the novels. And there was that whole scene that he was trying to say to the computer, all right, I want to relax and don't get me involved in shootings, etc. But because it was a detective novel, in that series scene, he almost would be dead for 3 times.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just like I don't know, it's just the whole scene with Picard. I think it's nice to see him a little bit of trying to relax, but because we always see him working, and it's not much that we see him relaxing, and even relaxing with the crew, you know.
Yeah, he doesn't really hang out with the crew that much, unless it's work.
No, it's just, I think that's also something like Picard, you know. And then we are again in the transporter room, and Worf and Wesley are talking about the, I think they call it the Andeans or something. And
yeah, something like that.
Wesley was telling that Worf was handsome as a Klingon. And then Luxwana came in because she was looking for Jean-Luc. And she was hitting on Wesley first. And
oh gosh, don't hit on the kid.
And I was thinking, okay, we had that one episode with Q that Riker made Wesley older. And I was thinking, nah, he will never do that, because also when Luxwana was on Deep Space Nine and she had a thing with Odo, I was very surprised.
Oh, I remember that.
I was very surprised Odo would even look at her. And even marry her.
Wait, he married her?
Yes! He married her, and then they broke off the marriage because something, what was happening, I don't know what. But, yeah. So, after she was hitting on Wesley, she hit on Worf. And that was also funny.
Worf's like,
You could see if like he could be teased by Q, like microbrain, remember?
Oh yeah, I remember that one, the microbrain comment.
And well, now with Luxwana as in a primal mate, because she knows exactly what he's thinking, of course, because he's Betazoid.
Yeah. Plus, Klingons are pretty violent in the ways of love.
So, and after that...
If I remember, that's the guys read poetry or something like that, and the women beat each other up, I think, is what it was.
So after that, we're back in the holodeck with Picard. And there was something going on, and Dixon Hill was going with his secretary to Rex's bar. And that was funny. Because in one way, you see a lot of more interaction between Dixon Hill and the characters. What was nice in a way. And of course, then let me see. Luxwana came into the holodeck, and she was hitting on Rex, the bartender.
Oh, yeah, she did.
And then Data and Riker came to the holodeck with the note to Picard that the two passengers were awake now and they were in sickbay. And of course, which mother would do that? She was hitting on Riker. And she damn well knew that Riker was her daughter's man. Did you see, by the way, and that was weird in one way, Data was dressed for that time period.
I know. He looks good in suits.
Yeah. And that reminds me also, like, it would be a lot of fun if the Data that we know now in Picard, if that was the Data in TNG, the whole TNG would be a lot more interesting.
Yeah, it would be more interesting if he was like he was in Picard.
And Worf also. But okay. First she is, Luxwana is first saying, oh, I'm going to marry Riker. And then she said, oh, I'm going to marry Rex. And she was also confronting Picard with the thing of, why don't you take a look at me? Picard was contacting Pulaski. Oh, sorry guys, I'm going to spoil a little bit. The new flagship in Picard Season 3 called the USS Pulaski. And
I missed that. I didn't hear them say that in the episode.
Yes. And
I was paying attention to the other people.
Shelby is now Admiral.
Oh, that's Shelby.
With in the Borg contact, remember? And what they did in
yes, I vaguely remember her now.
And that's why Riker was reacting like that. Oh, damn Shelby again. She's Admiral and I'm still Captain. And oh, sorry guys, but what they did, how the Borg was assimilating now, that was very, very clever. That was a genius.
Yeah, through the transporter system.
But okay.
That's so bizarre and genius at the same time.
But yeah, it's like I said, guys, if you haven't seen this episode, please go and try to watch this episode because the first time I didn't know what's happening. The second time it put me down for, oh my god, what the hell. And the first time I was watching, I was crying like a baby. So much nostalgic, so much more things that is so great with it. Talking about Beverly's second son, Space Son. She always will interview him for her podcast. in the next 2 weeks. So that's gonna be fun. So she had Will Wheaton already on her podcast, and now she's getting her second space son on it. So that's gonna be fun too. So Picard was asking Pulaski how the Davidians are doing, and she said, well, they are fully awake and they are very hungry, and all well, all done. And then they were at the planet where the Federation conference will be, and so the ambassadors are ready to beam down, and Luxwana came in and said, well, this and that, but they are assassins. And everyone was saying, oh, no, you were talking again, you know. But she said, yeah, they are. Data scanned them. And Data was saying, Captain, she's right. They have bombs in it, and that's not detected by our transporter system or whatever. So at that point, they were in custody and getting into the brig, and Luxwana was almost ready to beam down, and so Luxwana said goodbye to her daughter, what was very nice. It wasn't like, I would almost say, Luxwana always had this relationship with Deanna like smothered. I don't know if you have ever seen that TLC program, but it's like more like want to rule your daughter's life, and your daughter will always be little for you, you know? There are some mothers who are like that. But it wasn't a show on
You say it's a show on TLC?
Yeah. It's called Smothers.
Remember what it's called?
You can I think you can watch a little video clip on YouTube as well. It's on YouTube as well.
Okay.
But it is
TLC. I'm not sure if I saw it.
But it is like it was very claimery of Luxwana. But it was a nice goodbye. And before Luxwana was really beamed down, she could tell what Picard's thoughts were, and she was saying, Picard, or like Jean-Luc, don't have those naughty thoughts. What was really funny, because we all know Luxwana. And yeah, this was also the end of the episode, guys. In one way I enjoyed it, but like we said in the beginning of the recap, it is a pity that they sometimes have multiple storylines and they will not go into details. And
yeah,
that would be so much nicer of it.
Yeah, that's true.
So we already have rated this episode, but Amanda, do you still want to add something?
I like the episode. It was pretty good. There, I don't know if you remember the spot when they were sitting in the ready room, and Deanna goes, "Well, when we get to that type of what is it, menopause type thing for them, it's not like the phase. Yeah, the phase. Their drive is, and Riker's like, well, it's pretty high, and Deanna's like, well, I didn't exactly tell you the truth. It's like 4 times higher or something like that.
Yeah.
And Riker's face is like, oh, really?
And he was saying, you didn't ever tell me that.
It's like this huge grin shows up on his face.
What was really funny,
wow. Great big grin, ear to ear.
He always has that. Wow. He is like I said, the stupid thing is, he is a player, but also not, because he has Deanna Troi.
Yeah. And
But-
throughout the series, those two, are usually on and off for amount of time, like. But still, other than that, they ended up together.
Yeah. But also like, but that's what I always say. And Riker has always to be the leader of the away team, and so he has a lot of choices and convenient actions that he could go after women, but he always come back to the young Troi, and that's why they got married, and they go to Neptune, of course, and they have 2 kids. But I don't know, what I noticed also in this season of Picard, Riker is still the same Riker we know. And I think in that way it's really nice to see someone who is really, that we know from TNG, that is the same. Well, yeah, is there something you still like to add, or?
When he was carrying the luggage, when he pulled it up, he looks like he hurt his back a little bit when he did it, because it looked like it hurt. I don't know. I didn't know if you know this, but when he was younger, I guess Jonathan Frakes used to move furniture. And I guess he messed up his back doing that.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that is not the easiest job in the world.
No. Yeah, I know. And I'm guessing when he lifted that suitcase, it might have been a little heavy. Actually, they probably put some weight to it for him. And when he lifted it, probably hurt his back a little bit too at the same time.
Yeah, but Mr. Hom could carry it with ease.
No problem. No problem for Mr. Home.
And,
but Riker, nope.
Well, guys, this is the end of the episode recap. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you, like us, will watch the episode back. And, tell us what you think about it. And what your comment on it is. Because we like to know. And we like for you guys to get a little bit more interactive with us about talking about the episode.
Yeah.
And give us some positive feedback. We really need that. So, yeah. Well, Amanda, thank you again.
Yeah.
And we will talk and recap again in about 2 weeks.
Yeah. What's the next one called?
The Emissary.
Ah, the Emissary.
And yeah, well, guys, thank you as well for listening. I hope you're still enjoying what we are doing. And till next episode, and live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper.
Well, thank you guys for listening, and join us in 2 weeks for a new episode recap. In this episode, we will recap the episode The Emissary. I also like to tell you about my other podcast called Orinda Talks. Orinda Talks is a podcast which is I talk about books, movies, fandoms, and other geek things. You can find Orinda Talks on the YouTube channel or join the Facebook group. We see you in 2 weeks.